Tell us why you originally applied to be a part of Survivor Bloomsburg Season 3 this year.
Originally, when I was in orientation, I'd heard of this Survivor, and I heard it kind of tested like your social skills, kind of all around attributes.
In episode 1, the first activity was the island hopping, where you had 30 seconds to get trios standing into various hula hoops. How did you feel about your original trio that you formed with Wyatt and Michael? Did you three form any alliance at that point?
Oh, right away. So we were all sitting on the little bleacher things, and I was sitting next to those two, and we were already strategy talking. We're like, okay, we're gonna go for the closest hula hoop. As soon as we get there, make sure we're all in. And
in episode 1, your trio got chosen by Mars, Hayden, and Jack to join the OG Gibbon. How did you feel about that team?
I think it was kind of a respect thing we got chosen as well, because Hayden, who had won, I was in front of him, and I was holding my stick for him to grab. I was doing my best, and I was even telling him, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give you the best hold I possibly can. So every time he had to run over, my stick was still vertical as it could possibly be, at least the best I could do.
In episode 1, you and Wyatt struggled with opening up the lock during the Monkey Manic Relay. Walk us through what happened in that challenge.
We're trying all these different combinations, and nothing's working. So yeah, we just kept trying, and the whole group is struggling, and having that monkey mask on too. And then eventually, as soon as we heard the other group, Yukari, got it, we were just like, oh no. And so at that point, I knew I was like, the responsibility was on us. Everyone did such a job. And now we just lost the 10-minute lead that our team got.
In episode 2 on the quad, Gibbon dominated in all the challenges. Tell us which ones were your favorite that night and why.
The ping pong challenge, that was 100% my favorite because I love ping pong. I love racket sports.
In episode 2, you started telling everyone on Gibbon about your advantages you had found in clues. What was your strategy in leaking all that information?
I thought the best move, and I still think it was just to be completely open about advantages I found, especially that early in the game.
In episode 3, Gibbon didn't have to go to tribal at all again. Describe how that felt and which challenges you enjoyed the most at the rec.
My favorite challenge was definitely racquetball because, like I said, I like racket sports.
By the time you got to episode 4, back in the ballroom, did you have any alliances that you had created since episode 1? And if so, with whom?
Anyone that was an OG member of Gibbon was in an alliance with confidence.
In episode 4, the first thing the castaways encountered was the first team swap of the season. You got split from Gibbon and joined the boys of Bonobo, which included Silas, Joe, Logan, Kelvin, Michael, and Blaine. How did you feel about this brand new team and how the new Bonobo performed so well at all the challenges that night in the ballroom?
It was hard at first because when you leave a team that just had such a great run and go to a new team, part of you is gonna be like, oh, this sucks, but it's also a blessing in disguise.
In episode 5 at the beginning, we saw several castaways jump into the pool before the very first challenge began to search for ducks with goggles. What were your thoughts about those castaways taking that leap of faith to find the ducks?
I would have went in, but I had some ear issues at the time, so I actually couldn't go under.
We then saw footage of you and a few others leaving Nelson Fieldhouse to go look for the idol/advantages out in the rain that night. Tell us about that adventure.
I didn't even bother to put on my shoes. I just ran out like a dog. The dogs were out because I'm a dog. Besides not remembering exactly who found it or what happened, the experience itself was a lot of fun. Being out in the rain and hustling over and being like, is someone gonna beat us there? Are we gonna be the first when we're there? Like, is this the right sign?
In episode 5, you played a joke on some other castaways by writing a cryptic message on the dry erase board at the pool to look under the diving boards for clues. How did you feel when castaways started to do it and you had to tell them it was just a joke?
Oh, that was highlight of the season so far, because I just love to be goofy and, be spontaneous.
In episode 5, tell us about the Flamingo Battleship Challenge, why you all decided to target Yukari, and how you contributed to the challenge win.
Oh, sorry to Yukari, but my two closest guys at the time, Dane and Connor, are on different teams, and we're just like, yo, let's just team, and only, it's only one to tribal, whoever loses. So I could hear team talk throughout my team and through Connor and Dane's team. There's kind of like this low level of like, are we actually gonna team? Like,
in episode 6 at the sports fields, the new Yukari dominated at most, if not all the challenges, which speaks a lot to your athleticism. In the first challenge, tire crawl relay, tell us what you did in it to help your team.
The tire sizes was gonna be the difference. Finishing, it was so important. It was crucial. So being first back from the sprints helped a lot because then we got the smallest tire. It was easiest to move to the base.
How would you describe your leadership style that you displayed with your teammates in the challenges?
sometimes I can overdo it and micromanage, and it can be annoying for people. So I try to just make sure everyone's has a job and is just doing happy.
In episode 7 at Redmond Stadium, you were an all-star kicker in the field goal kicking challenge and probably could have been recruited to the NFL that night. What experience helped you in that challenge to win the immunity necklace?
In high school, I was a kicker my freshman year for football, and I played soccer ever since I was a kid.
In episode 7, you went on to win again during the hunt, jog, and catch 'em race around the track. How did it feel for you and Kelvin to have outlasted all the others and do many laps in the dark? Do you remember how many people you eliminated along the way?
Shout out to Kelvin. That guy's a dog for running as much as he did. I think I got like 6 or 7 people.
In episode 8, the Squid Squad won the Checkers Challenge and then competed in the Nut Stacking Challenge. Tell us how that experience was for you in both activities.
Squid Squad was bound to win just by the name. I knew Squid Squad was going to come out even if it was all odds were against us. The nut stacking, I was horrendous at. I have really shaky hands.
You had found a legacy advantage at the very beginning of the season, which was gifted to you. Tell us about how you found it, where, and what powers you had.
Lee had actually given me the immunity, and I found it in a tree, I believe, before the season started, and it was an immunity necklace. I could use it at any point until, with more episodes to come.
You had an immunity idol, which could have saved you at the rec center in episode 9, but you chose not to play it. What happened?
So I was like, okay, I don't think I need to use this. And so the votes started coming out. It's like Logan, Jay, and then Evan, and it just kept going. And I was like, I got blindsided. And to make matters even worse, I had 2 roll the dice that I went into my pocket to use when I was voting, but they were in my backpack.
Aww. How did you end up deciding to choose Lee, a 2-season veteran of Survivor Bloomsburg, as your friend for the Special Friends episode? What made you two work so well together?
He's a super nice guy. I feel like he matches my vibe as just, trying to be happy.
In episode 9, you and Lee won the first round of the grab, stack, and map relay. Tell us about that challenge and what it meant to pull out that victory.
I really feel like Lee and I's chemistry there was through the roof.
In episode 9, you chose not to do the dead bug wall press, but rather have Lee do it. How come you didn't take on that challenge?
I would rather spend my time talking to the other castaways to get a rundown of what's going on with voting.
Why do you feel you got blindsided in your vote out by perhaps other members of your alliance? Do you feel that was a compliment that they feared you as one of the strongest players left in the game?
I guess I could see it as a compliment. I think if I let my ego talk a little bit, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's awesome that I got voted out, because they didn't want to fight the returner. They knew I was a threat.
What did you learn about yourself by participating in Survivor Bloomsburg Season 3?
Social interaction is a great thing. You can read people's body language a lot, the simple things,
What do you feel makes the Survivor Bloomsburg experience so unique and fun to do or even watch as a spectator?
The thing I love most about Survivor is the groups it pulls.
Is there anyone you would like to thank who is supporting you in this campus competition? Any shout-outs?
Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Dane, and shout out to Connor. I got closest with in Survivor and helped me understand different groups have awesome things to offer.
If you could tell other students why they should consider applying for next year's Survivor Bloomsburg Season 4, what would you tell them?
I'd highly recommend Survivor because it's going to test your skills on that, and on top of that, if you win, there's money, so you can't go wrong.
Any final thoughts?
2 months ago, there's just this whole group in a room, and part of you says, I gotta make alliances, but I gotta be the one to win. So it was interesting to see how different game plans were initiated, and when we came back, multiple weeks later, when that room was then down to 12 people, it was just this tone of mixed with nostalgia, and everyone was kind of proud for themselves too, because you made it, and props to you for making it that far with how you took your game plan and used it. But also it was job's not done. People were proud of themselves, but they knew that they still had to get the win. What am I even saying? I don't know. I had a great time. Thank you, Survivor, for having me.